freezing rain have been reported moving in from west of the Mississippi River, with accumulations reaching over an inch of ice. Such accumulations will be extremely dangerous for any civilian life, and make transport throughout the Commonwealth in a vehicle, or on foot almost or completely impossible. Due to this, the Germantown Liberation Front, MEF People's Committee, Oakville United Alliance, and the East Memphis Independent Republic have all withdrawn military and humanitarian support to the Memphis Nuclear Exclusionary Zone, and only the Memphis Civil Defense Task Force of the Delta Commonwealth will remain to protect residents from the infected. Residents within the exclusionary zone should fully focus on sheltering in place, rather than evacuating or combating the infected, as the dangerous conditions outside will almost certainly kill or cause severe complications to anyone attempting such actions. Instead, continue to shelter in place, and conserve heating to the best of your ability. Wear extra layers, and do not go outside. Expect the collapse of tree branches and the loss of power due to the accumulation of ice on these surfaces. Road conditions are also expected to worsen dramatically within the next 30 to 60 minutes, with roads potentially becoming completely impassable. This is an ice storm emergency for New Memphis, Oakville, Memphis International Airport, and the Memphis Nuclear Exclusionary Zone. If you are 25 minutes away from your destination, continue to your destination and take shelter. Should you be more than 25 minutes away, pull over to the side of the road and take cover. Have a winter survival kit with you, and stay with your vehicle if you get stranded. This winter survival kit should have food, water, clothing with heavy articles, a flashlight, batteries, and a battery-powered radio. Crack down your window for ventilation, but make sure to keep it at a light enough level to prevent all heat escaping your vehicle. This freezing rainstorm will arrive within Tennessee in the next 20 to 30 minutes, arriving in the Memphis Nuclear Exclusion Zone at 8:04 p.m. Central Standard Time, New Memphis Metropolitan Area at 8:24 p.m. Central Standard Time, Memphis International Airport at 8:34 p.m. Central Standard Time, and the Oakville United Republic at 8:54 p.m. Central Standard Time. Residents within these areas should shelter in place before the rainstorm arrives to prevent potential exposure to the elements. Remember, an ice storm warning means significant amounts of ice accumulation are expected, and may result in snapped power lines and falling tree branches. Be sure to check road conditions before traveling in these areas. This is an emergency situation.
If you're listening to this message, you're a part of this operation, so listen up and listen well. A few days ago, we helped those guys over in the Delta Commonwealth for New Memphis. Their Civil Defense Task Force, our airborne battalions, Germantown Front's tank forces, and East Memphis's artillery divisions all went into their exclusion zone to stop that prion or whatever was making people mutate. We did good, got rid of a lot of them, but one of Delta's boys got lost somewhere in the exclusion zone. We tried our best to find him, but we had to leave because of that damn freezing rain, and even almost a week later, it still hasn't let up. The reason I sent this whole message out in the first place is because we have to get that boy back. Sure, he's not one of ours, but he's one of the best soldiers to even grace this godforsaken land. That boy and his actions alone are why we and the others are at peace and have this military alliance. That boy alone has brought an end to years and years of brutal bloodshed that our people still remember and suffer the trauma from today. At just 19 years old, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna sit up here and let that boy freeze to death or get infected by some fucking radiation prion. So here's what we're gonna fucking do. We got an MQ-9 in the airfield. Once this rain stops, we'll deploy to the exclusion zone so we can track and take out some of the mutants. If we can find a large cluster of mutants, we'll check that place since it's likely that they're looking for some type of prey, which in this case would be that boy. Once we take out enough mutants or find a cluster, Germantown will send in their AN-77 to investigate the clusters and find our boy. If we do find him, our and Delta's troops will rush to his area, taking out any mutants along the way if need be. If we find that boy and he's infected, Delta's given us the order to take him out, but immediately bring his remains back to them for commemoration. We also have orders to retreat any of us that gets infected if the freezing rain comes back or we can't find him 3 weeks after the operation started, which is why we gotta get him ASAP. He's done so much for us and this is the least we can do for him. That's all I have to say. Continue your local basis operations as usual, but be ready whenever the rain ends. We move out no later than 6 hours afterwards.
Coalition forces have entered the Delta Commonwealth. Without fear, we are working in cooperation with your government and are only here to clear infected and rescue our fallen brethren. This cooperation will likely involve heavy power, destruction, and bombing of areas near civilian targets, and as such, it is heavily advised that you shelter in place to avoid infection and to avoid being caught in the collateral damage of this military operation. Our forces will be using heavy munitions, including high-power main battle tanks, long-range howitzer artillery, strategic heavy bombers, and armored fighting vehicles. These vehicles can cause heavy damage and mass casualties, and as such you should get into a basement or the innermost room of your home and barricade all windows and doors. Do not go outside, and do not assist in military operations, as you will be putting your life in extreme danger. Should you accidentally get caught in a military operation and get hit by a stray bullet, immediately seek out any medic from either of our forces. We will help you recover and get you out of harm's way. Treat this situation with the care and urgency it deserves and evacuate or shelter in place now. Should you wish to evacuate, avoid roads with trident signs on them, as those have been reserved for military use only. Gather a sufficient amount of food, water, clothing, medical supplies, and other essentials, and evacuate to either the Memphis International Airport, Germantown, Oakville, or East Memphis Independent Republic. You will be offered safe harbor and granted refugee status within these nations. One major danger to look out for while sheltering in place or evacuating is the infected and mutants themselves, as they carry a dangerous and highly transmissible pathogen. Residents infected with this pathogen can be easily identified by the following symptoms: loss of senses, such as taste, feel, or smell, intense aggression and delirium, intense sweating and swelling of body parts, bloodshot eyes, bleeding from the eyes, nose, and ears, and intensive reddening of the face and limbs, even in those with darker skin, as well as cysts, pubis, and necrosis. Should you spot anyone with these symptoms, get away from them immediately and report them to military forces. Should you come down with this prawn, tell your friends and family to report you, and try to stay as far away from uninfected people as possible, as there currently is no cure to this disease. Be aware that this prawn is not limited to humans, and can infect and be spread by animals and insects as well, and as such any life is to be avoided, human or not. It is important that you take care and continue to remain safe and vigilant during this operation. We shall continue to provide updates to this situation as they become available, but until then you should focus on evacuation or continue to shelter in place. This has been a coalition emergency message. This message will repeat until the aerial bombings of the mutant and infected zones begin. Evacuate or shelter in place before that time arises.